So we're going to start by using our round brushes straight away to draw and paint our moths, and then we're going to use all those techniques that we learned about with our experiments in previous lessons. So I'm going to start looking at the little body of the moth, which is quite fat. It's got quite a light sort of a lilac-y colour here. So I'm going to come over to my watercolours. This is my watercolour set, and I'm just going to mix up that really pale lilac colour using my watercolours and my round brush. And we're not allowed to use a pencil to draw in or put our marks on our page, so I'm just going to paint in that little body part here, or the wash, which is the shape of that part of the body there at the top here, just before you get to the little antennas. And I know it's got lots of sort of shapes and things on it where our pattern work will come into, or our mark making work will come into later, but I'm just putting in a shape of that body to begin with, just to help us there, or just to start us off. And then I'm just going to put the wings in just by using a wash and using my round brush to do my drawing. The little part at the top next to the body, so this little wing here, I'm just going to paint that in as well at the side. And I'm not using a pencil to give me any guidelines whatsoever. I'm just painting in the shapes or the washes of the background colours first, and then I'm going to leave this to dry, or this part here will probably be drying whilst I'm sort of painting in the other parts. And then a bit of reds I can see that are starting to happen, but keeping these colours really, really, really faint. And remember to keep our colours nice and faint with watercolours, is to be keeping it as a wash and using sort of a lot of water. So we've probably got a bit too much on there, so I'm just going to take that off. And the red's probably not quite as red as I would like it to be. I want sort of more of a rosy red for that part here. So for this part I want to go a little bit more rosy, and I'm just going to paint around an outline of the wing, just so I've got that in place, using my round brush to help me rather than a pencil and then filling it in later. That shape here, and then that's really light, this part here. It's coming round and putting on in some washes just to let that sort of settle down and dry a bit for later. Might have a look at the top where that's got quite a little red part. And then I'm going to come back to my painting and painting the little head of the butterfly at the top there. And I'm using my paintbrush all the time to do my drawing. I've not got my pencil out or my pen or anything like that. I'm just using my paintbrush as the drawing tool, which is what I want you to try to do as well. I'm going to have the antenna coming round there, and then giving this sort of body bit chance to dry a little bit. And if you come back to the picture, it has got sort of shapes and things in there, which I'm going to come back to once that's dried a little bit. I can possibly just try a little bit of that now. So I'm going to use like a grey blue from the mixing palette, come back to this part and start to put in the detail a little bit with those lines that I can see in there. Well, this might have a little bit of blue in the antenna starting to happen. But what I don't want to do is draw in all the patterns or the shapes with my pencil. I want to try and use my brush as the pencil, as the drawing tool, So once that surface has dried, I can start to paint in some of the textures that I can see that are on that little body part of my moth, and start to use some of those shapes and patterns that you started to experiment with last time. And this here there, probably need maybe a thinner brush for that part. Let's get a thinner brush, and we're going to do just painting straight away and not using a pencil or a pen to draw in our guidelines. We're just going to paint in the pattern straight away. See that butterfly there, really detailed. So I want to start building up, putting the washes in, letting them dry, then building up patterns. It's starting to take shape, so make sure you put your washes on, leave them to dry a little bit. You might want to swap brushes at some point so that you've got a thinner one, or you might use your wide brushes in certain parts to get a nice wash of the colours. If you can see, that brush just needs to swap that one for a wider round brush, just to create that shape a little bit quicker. Okay, you leave that to dry a little bit. Maybe put a blue colour where that blue, that nice light blue is there. And just start to build up the colours and the shapes with your brushes. Don't try and draw an outline in, and then leave that to dry a little bit, and then start to put on the patterns on top. And if you've got an outline with your round brush like I've got here, you might want to look, see colours, and just start to block your colours in with a wash so that you've got your background colours in. And then you can leave them to dry, and then start to work on top where all the different patterns and marks are.